Good morning, wrestling fans. Welcome to PWR today for Friday morning, June 25th, 2021, the man they call Meathead. As always, Friday morning, Matthew Thomas. Good morning, Matthew. How you living in the Rocky Mountains there?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful, and I'm proud to be the very bookend to everyone's week. I'm the period. I am the it could be an exclamation point, but I basically encapsulate everyone's week, and I'm a good just little encapsulation to end their week on.
Okay. Well, instead of ending our show, let's start our show with by who our sponsor is.
That would be Collar and Elbow that you're referring to. That's a clothing brand. And you can head to their website, collarandelbowbrand.com, and you can look at their fine selection of clothing items. They got, stuff for pretty much anybody, anybody's taste or anybody, depending on what color shirt you like. They got everything for your clothing needs. Collarandelbowbrand.com. Enter promo code LindaK to save 10%. That's LINDAKAY. And you save 10%. 10 is spelled TEN. Percent PER. But you don't enter that in the thing. That's not relevant.
That's don't confuse them. Come on.
That's just for future education, for further reading.
Speak about future education. Our friends at Impact Wrestling as well last night. Bunch of backstage promos. Guys wearing the collar and elbow mirror stuff. I love seeing collar and elbow. It's a good brother summer,
I think Sami Callihan traditionally supports his collar and elbow hat, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, he does. I mean, everybody's got it, so make sure you got it too. I am currently rocking my very festive Festus shirt.
And you don't have to wait until the holidays to wear that. You can be festive anytime with your Festus gear.
It looks great because it literally is the entire shirt. And, me wearing the size shirt that I wear, it's nothing but his tongue hanging out. I want people to run around and ring a bell around me to see if I change moods.
I think that could be accomplished.
All right, let's accomplish some wrestling news before we get into breaking down Ric Flair's A&E Treasures. All right. Speaking of WWE, they are returning to the MSG, Madison Square Garden. They've got a show. It's... everything's coming back into place. This is a big deal for WWE. They consider Madison Square Garden their home court, their home arena, because they run out of Stanford. Stanford not too far away from NYC. WWE is coming back to Madison Square Garden with a very unique look, too. I don't know if they're going to be doing the Raw or a SmackDown, whatever they're doing. It looks like it might be a SmackDown taping, but... they've got that very unique look. They can't actually do the stage there. They do that kind of the hard camera staring at the entrance area.
Yeah. Madison Square Garden, very definitive look. There's no getting around it. When you're at a show at the Garden, no matter how you shoot it, man, that's the venue they're in.
I absolutely love this moment from the Royal Rumble. No one knew he was coming.
Yeah.
At number 30, you already know where I'm going, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then
it's crazy. We're talking about MSG and the entrance. That's the shot that my mind goes to. That's the shot. And it goes, my head is picturing John Cena with like fans like on both sides of him, like shoulder to shoulder with him almost, because the entrance is so narrow.
Yep. And hearing the guy in the background, oh no.
Yeah. And I think
especially
so that's the first thing it goes to, and then it goes to WrestleMania 10 with the big X that would open and close in the entrance.
Yep, and then the ladders. It literally goes to that, and I see Scott Hall and I see Shawn Michaels in the first ever ladder match at WrestleMania.
And of course, who can forget the way that it went off the air with the celebration in ring with Bret Hart and Owen standing right there at the entrance ramp.
Yep. Unbelievable. WWE making their way back to MSG, so happy to see that things again getting closer and closer to normal. Let's talk now AEW. Coming up tonight, we have got big stuff happening on AEW. Let me check that. They are on tomorrow night. It's my first day here, Matthew Thomas. Saturday Night Dynamite. We're going to run down the matches in just a second, but let's talk about the rankings for this week. The men's rankings, Kenny Omega, obviously the champion. Miro, the TNT champion, and we already know who the number one contender is, and he has a title shot tomorrow night. It's Jungle Boy, sitting pretty at number 2. Adam Page at 10-1. Number 3, Orange Cassidy 10-1-1. Number 4, Powerhouse Hobbs, who will have a match tomorrow night against Adam Page at 9-1. And then finally, the former TNT champion, Darby Allin at 10-2. What do you think is going to happen specifically? Adam Page, Powerhouse Hobbs.
I don't see Hobbs going over him. I see Page going over, but when you're reading the rundown, what it does dawn on me is the fact that I think you can use the number one contendership via a gimmick, like we saw with Jungle Boy. Throw in another stipulation there on another Dynamite. Have somebody else, win a ladder match or win a lotto drawing or something. I think that's how you keep.
Ooh, buy a couple scratchers.
Yeah, that's how you keep Page from, the number one spot, or how you keep him away from Omega until you're ready to pull the trigger. Not the V trigger.
Do you think you have the Dark Order do anything to Adam Page?
You mean turn on him?
Maybe.
Huh.
Man. Or have somebody from the Dark Order turn on Page.
Yeah.
Essentially kicking himself out of the
dark. I don't think so. I think you can eventually get the Dark Order back to heels, but you're a good couple of years away from that.
Years away, especially if you got -1 running the group.
If you're ever able to. I mean, the only thing that would work would be -1 turning on him. But then that would work. That would be
-1 could attack Adam Page and not be a heel. Dude, -1 literally is not going to be able to be a heel for a very long time.
No, another 8 years or so?
At least. I mean, it will be more difficult to turn -1 heel than it was to turn Austin or Goldberg heel.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be fantastic though? You have -1 costing the match. It doesn't turn the Dark Order. It doesn't turn Page. It doesn't turn -1. He's like going through, a period where he's pissed
teenage angst.
Yeah, he's pissed off at Page for something. That's gold right there. You use -1 to keep Page away from the title picture until you're ready.
Okay. All right. The women's, the champion, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD in 2021. She's 11-1. And the champ, the number one contender, Nyla Rose, 15-2. Number 2, Tai Conte, 16-3. Number 3 is Thunder Rosa at 15-2. Number 4, skyrocketing shooting star, Chris Statlander at 8-0. You'll see what I did there. And the number 5 contender, the former champion, Hikaru Shida. Boy, oh boy, my eyes need to get fixed at 5-1. Are we pushing towards Rose and DMD at a pay-per-view, or is this going to be a blow-off in one of these special Dynamites coming up in the next few weeks?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a blow-off. I don't see anybody on that list, unfortunately, right now that is a viable option to take that off of Britt Baker until Thunder Rosa. And I think it's another Adam Page type of scenario where
Thunder Rosa or Serena Deeb.
Yeah. And is Serena on the list anywhere?
She's not even in the top 5. Okay.
Yeah. No, I think those are.
Remember, she's not the NWA champion anymore.
Yeah. Yep. So no, Britt Baker's got the title for a while, man.
Okay. Tag team rankings: the Young Bucks 8-0 on 2021. Number 1 contenders again, Varsity Blondes 14-4. The number 2 team, Yow, it's the Acclaimed at 12-3. At number 3, still 5-0 and haven't lost yet in 2021. The number 4 team, Private Party, moving up at 6-1, and then number 5, Santana Ortiz at 5-2. I feel like there's way more tag teams in here, and it's funny that Santino and Ortiz are 5-2, but they're ranked number 5. What about the tag team of the Fanny Pack Kid?
Hey, I don't know if we're going to see them in tag team action or if he's going to go off into his own program with Shawn Spears. It looked like there was some heat between those two.
Yep, some Harlem heat.
Hey, I want to put this out there, as much as I've enjoyed AEW and as entertaining as their weekly shows and pay-per-views have been, what really dawned on me in all of that is, man, I don't know how great of a job they're doing of building up a believable undercard that are serious threats to your champions. Everybody on that list seems light years below the booking of the Bucks. There's nobody on there that seems like they're a credible threat to the Bucks. Only Thunder Rosa seems like she's a credible threat to Britt
Honestly, the
Baker.
credible threat would be FTR, but they're not going to go head to head.
No, you're not. You're not going to do that. And then again, Paige is a credible threat to Omega. But here's the deal: Jungle Boy Omega is going to be a good match. There's nobody that even thinks for a second Jungle Boy's leaving with that title. And it's great that he's getting that push. But let's be honest, this is a match for a push purpose only. This is not a match with a suspension of disbelief where he's walking out with that title. And that's really what AEW needs to do a better job with booking. And what I'm seeing here, you have somebody strong like a Miro, you put another title on them. And that's what AEW is kind of doing right now, is you're having your strong contenders not necessarily in the ranks of your main champion. So I'd like to see, as AEW continues to progress and continues to branch out, I'd like to see a little bit viable undercard. And it's not that they're not viable and they're not putting on great matches week after week, but you don't have a ton of people that you actually believe are serious threats to, take the title off of your champions.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about AEW Dynamite for tomorrow night. The main event, Kenny Omega will take on Jungle Boy for the AEW World title. We've also got Powerhouse Hobbs and Hangman Adam Page. Matt Sydal will take on Dante Martin of the Acclaimed. Ethan Page against Bear Bronson. Bear Bronson. And then MJF and Sammy Guevara prepare for their June 30th main event match. I am looking forward to seeing MJF and Sammy go one-on-one.
Yeah. No, and that is what I like about that, that's a very good self-contained undercard story there. Again, MJF, he's somebody that could be in contention for your title, but you're having him and Omega in opposite orbits because they're, MJF is the best heel in that company, without a doubt. Omega is kind of his own little thing. And again, that's kind of where AEW's at right now. But no, MJF, Sammy, that is a story I want to see.
Okay. Something we also wanted to see, and now we're here to talk about it on a Friday morning, is Ric Flair's A&E Treasures. This was the main event. This was the season finale, the show finale, because they never said they were doing a season 2. So this is the finale. This is the big one. This, after watching the Andre the Giant stuff and watching Sonny Ono try to work over Big Show and Mark Henry and AJ Francis, top dollar, I didn't think we were going to get it again, but Matthew Thomas, watching this Ric Flair documentary, there is a mysterious owner of the black butterfly robe. After, taking about an hour to find it, they found the person who has it. They found out he paid, about $10,000 for it?
Yeah.
This robe is valued anywhere from $75,000 to $90,000. This is the robe he debuted in WWE with. This is the robe he wore to the Royal Rumble that he won the WWF Championship in. The last time he wore it was in Nashville. This is a robe that he's worn on Nitro. I mean, Ric Flair has many, many robes. They're all custom jobs, except for I think one of them wasn't custom, right? One of them was from somebody else. But what was the woman's name again that did the Ric Flair robes?
Oh, my goodness.
Olivia.
Yes.
Because, she signed it. Literally, she put all the sequins on by hand. Olivia, was the one that did all the Ric Flair robes. There's guys that wore robes, right? Rick Rude had robes. We were just talking about Paul Orndorff yesterday. He had great robes as well. Greg the Hammer Valentine. They all wore these nice robes.
I've got a robe that I got for Christmas a few years ago.
Right. Everybody at Dunder Mifflin got robes for the holidays except for Toby. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, but not quite as fancy as Rick's.
Okay. So, when you look at these different, and A&E documentaries did a great thing. Every 15 minutes or so, they'd sprinkle back in that graphic silhouette. Here's the robe. Here's what it looks like. And here's how much it's valued at, right? And then they'd show clips of him wearing the different robes. The one robe that I thought was going to be huge, and they ended up finding this robe, was the robe that, like the jumpsuit one. Yeah. It was a robe, but it kind of zipped up in the front. And that was what he wore when he won his championship belt at the first ever Starrcade. That one's worth a lot, too. So They bring in Charlotte Flair. Charlotte's going to go on the quest, looking around. They go and talk, and they showed clips of them talking to everybody else throughout the time, throughout the season. Hey, you guys know where the butterfly robe is? Anybody know where? No, man, I don't know. Rick was known to lose a lot of things. I have no idea. Honestly, you might want to check with some of his ex-wives. Apparently, his ex-wives stole them too. That's how valuable these robes were.
And that's literally what happened with the butterfly robe. When you find out what happened to it, it was left in a hotel room.
Left in a hotel room. The guy that sold it off for the $10,000 to this mysterious owner of the robe said they sold it off because they had to pay it for like a tombstone or a headstone or something, pay it for funeral costs, which can be understood, right?
So my favorite part about that story was apparently it was in the hotel in Johnson City, Tennessee. It was in the lost and found for a couple of weeks.
Right.
Can you imagine?
This 73-pound robe was at a Howard Johnson's. Somebody was going to get a continental breakfast, going to get a bagel and a schmear. Hey, that's a pretty fancy robe you got in there. Can I put it on?
And how about the
like
fact
woo!
that Ric Flair was running up and down the road so hard he didn't even think to check back?
Don't say so hard and the robe at the same time.
Yeah. No. I think that those two phrases go very well together.
Because it's well known and it's well spoken about, and there's stories about it. Matter of fact, Dark Side of the Ring is going to be doing the plane ride from hell in the second half of the season. Ric Flair has been known to put the robe on and take everything else off. It was even referenced to by a little Nate who showed up on this episode. Charles Robinson, still refereeing in WWE, that they've been naked in those robes, apparently.
Well, here's the thing. Like, it's a robe. Like, I mean, do you expect people to be fully clothed underneath a robe? No. In its pure essence, you're supposed to be naked under a robe.
Would you, knowing that Ric Flair has had the robe on, his balls and whatever up against the robe, knowing that little Nate has had the robe on, his balls, and knowing that Hootie, Darius Rucker, has had the damn robes on too.
Yes. That's such a great combination of people.
I mean, literally, I want you to picture this, folks. I'm coming inside you right now. Let me go get my robe on. You and me, we come from different worlds. Woo! You like to laugh at me when I look at other girls. Jabola. You tell me Darius Rucker didn't do that? He didn't sing "I Only Want to Be With You" in the robe naked? Come on,
absolutely. Man. Absolutely. That's had to have happened.
By the way, Darius Rucker was on the program, and apparently he's good friends with Ric Flair.
Oh, yes. That's the way it kicked the show. And I'll tell you, after all the dark stuff that we've covered, man, this was such a nice, refreshing treat. You tell me I can get Ric Flair, Darius Rucker, Charles Robinson in the same episode of television. I'm all in. This. You know what? You need to take all three of those guys. You need to put them in a house and film a reality show.
Legends House season 2.
I will watch. You know what? Not even a 24/7 feed, man. I'll watch that whole thing live every minute. Speaking
of Legends House, that was one of the first shows they ever had on the WWE network, and they had filmed it 5 years prior.
Oh wow, that's right. It was.
I mean, think about who's all been on Legends House that's no longer with us.
Yeah, no, quite a large.
I mean, we're talking Roddy, we're talking Pat Patterson, we're talking Mean Gene.
Mean Gene, yeah.
Oh, that was an amazing show. I absolutely loved every second of it, and how puppy dog sad that Hacksaw would be if Roddy Piper was out of the house. Where's my buddy Roddy? And following around Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and how absolutely insane Jimmy Hart is. The guy's 70 years old, and it just the engine just runs at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah. Really interesting off the topic. I don't know if you've ever heard it or not, but I ran across it last night. I heard a story, and it was referenced, and there was also a shoot interview that Jimmy Hart gave about a convenience store being held up and a carjacking in like 88 with Jimmy Hart and the Ultimate Warrior.
Oh, that makes sense.
We need to do a little bit of research on it. I can't validate it, but it sounded like a very interesting ordeal.
That sounds absolutely like it. By the way, there's another article, another one of the robes that never got brought up on the show this week, but this is a robe that looks like it's like a scarlet red and silver with a lot of sequins. That also sold for apparently 27,000.
Hmm.
Here's the thing: Rick lived his gimmick, right? Rick lived the life. Uh, you know, they have a robe at the WWE warehouse already before they start doing the show, and I think which robe was this? Was this
That
the
was the
jumpsuit
golden
one?
robe. That was the golden robe
The golden robe.
that had like a little belt attachment in front.
Yeah, that was the golden robe. And long story short, that's how they got little Nate to give up the
Yeah.
jungle robe. Because remember, that was the one with the lions on it.
Yeah, the jungle robe. That sounds like that would have fit in quite well in Elvis's jungle room, right?
That's funny you say that because I feel like there was some reference there. Ric Flair running up and down and little Nate, Charles Robinson saying that he's been naked in a robe. He referenced Lisa Marie. Do you think he hit that?
We need to do. I didn't quite. That's what I heard too, and I don't know what he meant by the reference. We need to do a little bit of research, so maybe that can be like a deep dive that you and I do. A very scholarly.
We go on the road
project. we do. Oh my goodness! I mean, we can. Not that Lisa Marie wouldn't be at Graceland, but
right.
I mean, shoot, man, Elvis might be at Graceland.
Elvis might still be at Graceland. You never know.
In the pool house. In the pool house, their picture circa December 1977 of Elvis in the pool house, available for anybody to see online if you want to do a little bit of investigating.
Okay. Hey there, little mama. Why don't you go ahead and give me some of that peanut butter and banana sandwich there?
It's a damn good sandwich. If you haven't tried that combination, you need to really look into it. I even wager to say better than your peanut butter and cheese, Meathead.
Oh. By the way, that's not an Elvis impression. I'm a big Johnny Bravo fan. So, Hey there, little mama. Huh! All right, so
it's a very distinct difference between your Elvis and your Johnny Bravo.
Yeah, thank you very much. Oh my God, I did that without even knowing. That was amazing. We go back to Lisa Marie here, and I think we talked off here. Did we assume that Ric Flair just hit everything? That he just everyone? I mean, because I feel like Ric Flair and I have hooked up one night.
It's very possible. It wouldn't surprise me.
Do you think he ever hooked up with Wilt Chamberlain?
That's quite possible as well too. Do
you think that's how the universe was made? Wilt Chamberlain and Ric Flair made a baby, and it was our world.
There's not much that you could put in front or behind the name Ric Flair that wouldn't surprise me. The Lisa Marie thing, it wouldn't surprise me, but the thought of it makes me very happy.
Okay, explain.
No. It's a really cool idea and really cool possibility that we live in a world where that could have happened.
Okay, well, I mean, could be in a multiverse of madness too. You never know. But I really do believe Wilt Chamberlain and Ric Flair slept with each other and made our world.
I think that needs to be. You need to
that
lead
was the
with
Big
that.
Bang Theory.
You need to lead with that in the title of the show, I
think. Wilt Chamberlain and Ric Flair sleep together. I mean, that was really the impetus of the Big Bang Theory.
There's going to be an article that pops up on what's the name of that debunking thing? Snopes, not Snoops. Not Snopes, right? Snopes. Snopes. Yeah. They'll have an article on that tomorrow to see if they can confirm nor non-confirm the Ric Flair.
Do you think Facebook will fact check me?
There's only one way to find out.
All right, we digress. I told you yesterday that you're going to get upset at the end of the Ric Flair episode, and I was shoot hot when I saw that this guy who made a deal with Ric Flair with Conrad, who I knew but I didn't know. Hey, it's Conrad. Is Ric Flair's son-in-law because he's married to one of Ric Flair's daughters.
That's normally the way son-in-laws work.
Yeah, but I mean, I didn't know he was part of the family. Big Ric Flair collector. So the deal was between Ric Flair, Conrad, WWE, and this guy didn't want to because he knew he was going to jag him around.
Yeah,
this guy made a deal and reneged on it 3 times.
Oh, it was awful, man. And the thing of it is, you knew what this guy got it for, and you knew, I mean, anything that he did, he was going to exponentially make his money back and then some. And you've got people in place, man. You've got people traveling across the country to get this thing done. And this dude,
Well, I mean,
this
you know,
dude,
like Big Show and Mark Henry said, I ain't going back to Iowa.
well, this dude's sitting there changing his mind. And to make it even worse than the Sonny Ono thing, this dude didn't even show his face, man. He's got somebody else doing his dirty work for him.
Right. Yeah,
But
it was
it
dirty.
it ended, and here's the thing. I don't think necessarily, they took him for a ride, and was it the right way to go about it? Not necessarily, but you knew at the end of the day, Conrad Thompson was going to part with whatever he had to part with to get that thing. So I don't think there was ever any danger of losing it. Did it make you feel good about the transaction? No. Did the guy go about it the right way? Most
Right, it was a
likely
cash
not.
grab.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, it got to where it needed to get.
Yeah. And, I mean, go back and look at the other stuff they did in the Andre episode. Look, I don't want to sell it to you, but I mean, we can do on loan and we can have, partnerships. And, that happened in this episode too. There was a couple of things that were on loan. Conrad's giving stuff to, WWE fan access and stuff like that, where he had a whole bunch of boots that he just wanted out of his house, which was kind of funny.
You know what? I might have to give you that jacket I wore in the PWR draft on loan. If you ever want to.
You might have to do that. I'll have to be the proprietor of all things Matthew Thomas.
Yeah, that's right. You can take it and show it to people and stuff.
Yeah, I'll go on plane rides and be naked in it.
Yeah,
woo!
I'm okay with that.
I found it just absolutely hilarious too that they didn't give, I thought, enough prestige to Big Gold. When they talk about that belt, that is the real belt. You know how I know it's the real belt? It looks like it's broken every time, because it's coming off the leather.
Yeah.
That's now, the same one that Hogan spray painted.
Yeah, and that's just hanging there in Conrad's place, huh?
He's got the original WCW Big Gold.
Wow.
So does that mean in WWF/WWE they were carrying around a replica?
Oh, I'm sure.
All right. Well, what a great end to the a great show that they made up out of thin air, honestly.
Yeah, no, without a doubt, and this one they really went above and beyond. I mean, this could have been, a feature-length documentary on the Flair thing. I mean, you're talking about some high-ticket items and just such great, personalities involved yet again. And one thing I want to point out too,
AJ Francis came off as a star in this too.
Yeah, no, and he has for the whole series. And I'll tell you, somebody that I continually, I mean, outside of all the stories, outside of living the gimmick, somebody that I am continually impressed with seeing in things like this is Ric Flair. He comes across as extremely humble, as extremely sincere, and it's Ric Flair. And when you see him, Ric Flair, circa right now, he seems
circa right now. That we got to be clear on that.
Yeah, he seems so very happy that he is held in as high regard as he is.
Yes.
And this was yet another.
And alive.
Yeah. No, and I mean, my goodness, we after several years ago, the fact that we'd see Flair up and doing this stuff was concerning that might not be the case.
Was it cardiac arrest or was it a heart attack?
Well, I mean, by all accounts, he was not in great shape, man.
No.
And way to kick out per se.
Oh my God, yeah. Talk about the comeback.
Yeah.
I mean, way to kick out. Yeah, absolutely. So, but again, WWE A&E pulled a rabbit out of the hat. This show was fantastic. Let me ask you this. Now that we've done a season, what would you want to see? Who would you want to see profiled if there's a season 2?
And it kind of runs together, man, because of the A&E, the biography. We didn't get anything on Bret Hart in this one, did we?
Yeah, but we had the Bret Hart documentary. So.
Yeah, but we didn't have him going after stuff. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see, man. You know who I'd like to see on it, man? I'd like to see Vince. What does he want? What does he not have that he wants to have?
Dude, Vince has 10-foot-long swords from Ireland.
Yeah, but no, I'm talking about stuff that means something to him, and you might even predate it to when he took over the company back in the WWF days, something that goes back to when he was getting his feet wet, when it was still his father's promotion. That's the one I want to see. I want to see Vince.
Okay. By the way, Ric Flair had a heart procedure done about a year ago. about 2 years ago. And the thing that we're talking about is he had to have part of his bowel removed.
Oh my goodness.
And his alcohol intake has exacerbated all those issues, obviously. So, Ric Flair is very fortunate, and we're very fortunate that we're living in Ric Flair being aware of him being around. You say cherish the legends when they're around, because then they won't be around. We're very fortunate that we're around. I mean, look at guys like Todd Gurley. Look at guys like Darius Rucker. I mean, the legends now. I honestly think the way he's held in this esteem to the hip hop community. Look at Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny was on the episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ric Flair is held like Tony Montana from Scarface. He's a man that lived it 100 miles an hour and made it through. And now, I mean, the new generations just treasure him.
A lot of people say I'm held like Joe Montana.
Yeah, but I'm hung like Tony Montana. No, I mean. All right. So, folks, that's the week. Tomorrow night, we've got AEW Dynamite. Tonight, SmackDown. Yeah. And the new Otis without the beard.
Hey, sign me up, man. Give me new Otis.
Okay. All right. Well, that's our week. I know we're going to be changing days around next week. I know Linda and you guys are going to be, flipping dates around, but we're going to be here Monday through Friday. So for Matthew Thomas, the man they call Meathead, hey, thanks for stopping by. We'll talk to you next week. So long, everyone.